Let me give you a brief history of Israeli-Palestine conflict. At the end of First World War, Palestine was among the several former Ottoman Arab territories which were made mandated territories by the League of Nations. Now, all but one of these mandated territories, categorized as A mandates, whose independence was provisionally recognized, became fully independent states as anticipated. The exception was Palestine, where instead of being limited to the rendering of administrative assistance and advice, the mandate had a primary aim: the implementation of Balfour Declaration, issued by the British government in 1917, conveying that government support of the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people. This commitment was included in the Mandate of Palestine, formerly allotted in 1922 to Great Britain by the League of Nations, without having ascertained the wishes of Palestine people as required by the covenant. This is more or less where the problem began. Now, during the 25 years of Palestine Mandate from 1922 to 1947, large-scale Jewish immigration from abroad, mainly from Eastern Europe, took place. The numbers swelling in the 1930s with the notorious Nazi persecution of Jews. Over this period, the Jewish population in Palestine, composed principally of immigrants, increased from less than 10% in 1970 to 30% in 1947. Palestinians' demand for independence and resistance to Jews immigration led to the rebellion of 1937, following by continuing terrorism and violence from both sides. During and immediately after the Second World War, Great Britain, as the mandatory power, tried to implement various formulas bringing independence to the land ravaged by violence. A partition scheme, a formula for a provincial autonomy, a unified independent Palestine were all considered and abandoned, and in 1947, Great Britain, in frustration, turned the problem over to United Nations. Now, in November 1947, the United Nations voted to partition the British mandate. This is something that you will be hearing a lot more in the near future, in a lot of debates, a lot of discussion. I will repeat, in 1947, the United Nations voted to partition the British mandate of Palestine into Jewish states and an Arab state. Clashes broke out almost immediately between Jews and Arabs in Palestine. The British troops prepared to withdraw from Palestine's conflict continued to escalate, with both Jews and Arabs forces committing belligerence. Among the most infamous event was the attack on Arab village of Deir Yassin on April 9, 1948. The news of a brutal massacre there by Irgun Luimi and Stern Gang forces spread widely and inspired both panic and retaliation. Days after Arab force attack, a Jewish convoy headed for Hadassah Hospital, killing 78. Now, this is what the Arab-Israeli conflict was, a gist of it. And this is how it all began. Now, the reason I say that this can take a very dangerous turn.